In this video, we're going to continue to dive into your video content strategy and to look at demographics and data to better understand your audience. I'm going to alert you to two sites here that are going to really help. One is Alexa.com and Quantcast.com. And the goal here is to really spy on where your customers already live and breathe and really take a bird's eye view and to understand what they're all about, the key phrases they're using, the topics they're searching. Look at sites that apply to their demographic, apply to their interests, and we can use some tools to find out exactly, what makes them tick and really get a better understanding so we can start forming that customer avatar that we mentioned earlier. Let's do that in this video. Okay, so here we are at Google.com. The first thing I like to do is just to go into Google and just start doing some, exploratory research, as I call it. Google is a great tool just to obviously give you an idea on what some of the top sites are, but also if you scroll all the way down to the bottom here, this information here is often gold as well. Whoops. In terms of these related key phrases that come up here at the bottom of Google, like Photoshop tutorials for beginners, Photoshop text tutorials, easy Photoshop tutorials, and that sort of thing. You can just start to get the ball rolling to understand just some of the related key phrases that your potential audience may type in or actually will type in to Google. And that's, again, a free resource you can use just by simply scrolling down the page. So what I want to do is start looking at some of these top sites here, and to really drill down and to find out, what kind of people hang out at these sites. How old are they? Just to get some idea about the demographics so we can, again, start putting those pieces together to form this ideal customer avatar and start developing that content strategy that drives everything we do from this point forward, well before we start creating the videos and actually uploading them to YouTube. So there's two sites that I'm going to use and show you to help us drill down. I want you to look at the top sites here. And we're going to actually copy those over and start drilling down into some of these sites to really find out, what kind of people hang out at some of these top sites related to Photoshop tutorials. So the first site I want to bring your attention to is Alexa.com. You should set up a free account with Alexa. It'll give you a lot more bells and whistles than just trying to get in without logging in. And one of the things I love about Alexa is the site comparisons. So what I've done is I've taken PhotoshopTutorials.ws and PhotoshopEssentials.com, which were among the two top sites ranked in the top 5 on Google. And I want to sort of get a sense, yes, traffic that gets important, but more importantly is actually what you can get in terms of the site overview information. Okay, so for example, for PhotoshopTutorials.ws, the rank is important, but look at down here. This is where we see the gold here. Gender, male and female, okay? Education, browsing location, obviously country, also very important. It's interesting to note that the majority of the visitors to this site are from India, okay? And I've seen various keywords come up within my keyword research that indicate that a lot of people who live in India are actually looking for Photoshop tutorials. Interesting to note. Also, more gold down here in terms of search traffic, okay? These are some of the top keywords people are using when finding this site. So Photoshop tutorials, Photoshop tutorial, tutorial Photoshop, no secret there. Best stock photo sites. That's one I wouldn't have actually thought of. So interesting to note. And at the bottom here, just giving you some general data about what they visit right before visiting the site. And it looks like Google.com is the primary site people are visiting before they actually hit this particular website. Also, YouTube is at 3%. And going down the page here, we can see obviously a lot of links coming in from YouTube. We can explore this video. I won't do it now, but just to give you an idea. And also at the bottom here, related links. This may give us some more insight in terms of other sites we can potentially analyze. And just to, once again, get further into the demographics, understand what makes people, tick as they visit this site. What kind of people, what kind of avatar would typically visit PhotoshopTutorials.ws? And there's various information here based upon load speed, which doesn't really apply. So pretty powerful stuff, right? You can start to jot this stuff down and make some notes about it, because as I mentioned earlier, we're going to go and actually take some of this data and start to put it into these worksheets that I showed you earlier and start to really just understand our customer avatar and start to get inside their head a little bit on what they want. All right. So you can do the same thing for any site that you find within Google or any site you come across that happens to have, the main topic you're focusing If that is also the main theme or topic of the website, there's a good chance you can get some intel by simply researching a little bit more about that site. Another great site is quantcast.com. And for example, if you type in a key phrase like Photoshop and hit the search button, let me try it again. Here we go. Now you can see here, it's bringing up a list of various sites. Look, there's Photoshop Tutorials WS again. There's PhotoshopEssentials.com. Okay, so we can start to drill down into various sites and just once again get a little bit of more intel in terms of what kind of people typically visit this site that's related to Photoshop. You can see here again, once again, male versus female, quite a male-dominated audience, as you can see here. Education levels, of course, background, ethnicities, age, kids, no kids, income, very important. Good to know that our target market, well, a lot of them actually make 100K plus, as you can see here, based upon the averages. And just gives you a really good, just a broad overview in terms of, interest levels, the top sites here. This is interesting. So we can actually get an idea in terms of how much more likely someone is to visit this property compared to, okay. So we can drill down and see different sites that they may look at that complement this particular site, and also traffic sources, which may not be applicable for our needs. But once again, the demographics is really what I'm after in terms of understanding the typical customer profile or the typical customer avatar that would visit our site. What do they look like? How old are they? Do they have kids? No kids? Age? College? No college? What kind of money do they make? All these types of elements are important as we start pulling them together. And once again, as we're going through this information, you can be making some notes and actually starting to complete some of this information here. And you can see a direct correlation between sites like Alexa.com and also Quantcast in terms of annual income, marital status, country, gender, age, all that information we just saw over the last couple of minutes. And obviously, as you drill down further, maybe look at message boards and forums and blogs, look at the comments on blogs, look at the comments on YouTube. If you look at the top videos on YouTube, they'll have a lot of comments. And in many cases, you'll see all the objections, the fears, the biggest questions on their mind will actually be right in front of you within the YouTube comments, because if a topic resonates with the viewer and if it's something they're passionate about and they want more information about, they'll ask all kinds of questions, which is really fuel and ammunition you can use to get a better sense on what's important to them, what do they fear, what's their goal or motivation, what information do they need, how can we help them, do they want education, are they looking for reviews, all that sort of stuff. So it's really critical you go through this process and start to just print out these worksheets and enter in a lot of that information that you see here in front of you, and also getting into worksheet number 2, where you start to understand a little bit more about some of the triggers, some of the potential keywords that you can use, or keywords that you found on competitive sites and that sort of thing. And I could spend literally another hour talking about all these different ways to get keywords and topic information, but obviously the Google Keyword Planner is also a great resource, and you can even reverse engineer the keywords of other top-ranked websites and that sort of thing. But, once you go down this path, it's not difficult to start putting these pieces together. The only thing I want to encourage you to do is to do it. Because like I said, many people make the mistake of skipping this. And I want to encourage you right now, spend half an hour, spend 40 minutes, print these worksheets out, go through what I just showed you, and just really start to nail this down, because it's really going to help you as we dive more into the keyword research, and then of course creating the actual content, the video content, and to bring everything all full circle and to make sure you're nailing your objectives, and also you're really giving your ideal customer what they're looking for, which is really what it's all about. So I hope this helps, and go ahead and get started with filling in some of these pieces and understanding your customer avatar.